IVM.
Hey everybody, quick request once again, if you could help us out by filling out our survey. It's at ivmpodcast.com/survey. This really helps us talk to advertisers about the kinds of people listening to these shows. Really do appreciate your help, and we're going to be doing a random drawing, and we'll be sending out some IVM swag. Hope you enjoy that.
Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach podcast. I am Ashdin, Doctor, your habit coach, and today with us for a second time we have Calum McGuigan. He's the community founder of Shape and Foster, and we had a fantastic discussion the last time around on how he created this and his journey from a very, very successful business where he suddenly lost his sense of passion, and hence during this last year created this beautiful community with such interesting ideas. And a large part of what he's doing is in the space that you come to listen to the podcast for, which is small habits, small things that you can make a change on. So Calum is going to share with us some of those little ideas that come out from Shape and Foster. So Calum, welcome to the Habit Coach podcast for a second time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
My pleasure. So Calum, can you quickly take us through, how the program is structured so we know exactly, what you're going to be sharing with us from it?
Yeah, so essentially, Shape and Foster has 6 experts: a life coach, you have mental health, you have finance, you have nutrition, fitness, and a yoga instructor.
All right, lovely.
Okay,
lovely.
So basically, every month, there is a new video piece of content available for your consumption. So each of the experts have created a program or a course, if you like, that takes you from start to finish, from month 1 to month 12.
Okay.
And you got a 20-minute video every single month from each of the experts.
Lovely. So which one do you want to start talking about first? Because there's such fascinating topics. Is there a sequence to these?
So, essentially what I've done here, Ashdin, is I'm going to take something that I learned from month 1 of every single expert. So lovely. I'll start with mental health. So the mental health professional is Tanya De Silva, and she works at a company called Behaviour Matters in Toronto, Ontario. So something that she talks about in month 1, her video is called The Why and How of Your Emotions, is the drill down method. So the drill down method is essentially where you ask yourself 5 times about why you're feeling a certain way. So let's say hypothetically, you get upset about something and you think it's because of point A, but if you actually drill down, ask yourself a second time, a third time, a fourth time, and a fifth time, more often than not, why you're actually upset about it, it's not that surface level at all. It's something entirely different. And this has been an interesting learning for me. And this was actually, in all honesty, this was actually a kind of aha moment for me that we were creating actionable insight, because I've actually managed to put this drill down method into my life myself. And I had an instance just a couple of weeks ago. I'm a very patient person. I love my kids, absolutely love them to bits. But I was having had a moment as I was putting my son to bed where he wasn't wanting to go into his bed. But I'd had a long day. I had a long day at work. I was testing lots of different ads for Shape and Foster. Some of them weren't clicking and some of them weren't working, so on and so on. And that was really the reason that was irritating me. Fast forward to the end of the night, I'm putting my son to bed. He's acting up. He's not going to bed. Prior to the whole drill down method, I may have in the past raised my voice. I might have been like, Malcolm, get into bed now, But after watching Tanya's month 1 video and going through this drill down method, I didn't even need to go 5 times. I knew that it wasn't anything to do with him not going to bed. I knew that I was actually upset. The core of the reason that I was upset was because I'd had a kind of bad day at work with a few things on the marketing side that weren't clicking. So it's a very simple thing that you can input into your life. It's called the drill down method, and it's essentially trying to dig a little bit deeper 5 times when you're upset about something. And when you get to number 5, the high likeliness is that you're not actually upset about that surface level, that thing that's kind of been the tip of the iceberg that's kind of put you over the edge. So that's number 1. And that's from our mental health professional.
Because, feelings are so important, right? Like half the time we have no idea why we feel the way we do. And drilling down to these root causes is so important for us, because then we can make better choices in the future. We're like, this is what happened yesterday. Okay, so it's the same thing's repeating itself. All right, now I know what to do about it.
Exactly. Our second expert is our life coach, Christina Rowland.
Okay.
Christina is in Washington, D.C. Her month one video to get you going on the life coach part of the program is about well-being. And she talks a lot about filling your cup. So an exercise in month one is simply to write down 10 habits that will have a positive impact on your life. And then you have to understand, you have to rate what would a good result be in terms of frequency for each habit, and how will these improve your life? Like, what's the value of them? So it's very, very simple things. So some of mine, for example, when I did this exercise, as we've already established, I live in Canada, but my family are in Scotland. So one of mine is to call my parents more. It's very straightforward. Like, I can go a month or 2 months off, in not 2 months, but a month definitely, without even talking to my parents. Why am I not phoning them once a week? Why am I not putting that in my schedule every single Sunday to phone my parents? That is something that would totally give me more joy, make me feel better about myself. Correct. Something else is simply bed at 9 p.m. A habit that would definitely increase my happiness is going to sleep at 9 p.m. every night, getting a good night's sleep. Something else is your phone off. Like, one of my habits that I put down was to put my phone off at 5 p.m. every single night, and then less phone on weekends. So don't write down 5 habits, don't write down 1, write down 10. And basically this is part of the exercise, and write a note next to each as to what frequency would be in terms of success, and how to improve your life. What's the value of it? Christina then talks about, and I'm sure there's other apps out there, Ashdin, you'll know them better than me, but she then talks about downloading an app called Habit Tracker. And simply putting your 10 habits in there, and the recurrences being daily, weekly, monthly reminders, whatever it may be. And having a habit tracker app definitely has helped me to input these 10 habits into my life for a more positive impact. And then she ends her month one
habit
video.
Habit tracker apps are absolutely important. So we have ours that is coming out as well. It's called Awesome 180, which is the whole habit tracking plus the podcasts on it. We have all our YouTube videos on it. So you can basically learn what kind of habits you want to put in and then track them throughout, have accountability partners. So it's an essential part of it. Put 10 habits inside and then have accountability partners for each of them. So you can actually go and somebody can, ping you and poke you and tell you why you're not doing this, or send you an angry face. So, that's such an important aspect of it.
That's cool. So when is your app out? When is the habit tracker?
So we're already out on the Android store, and hopefully by the 1st of Jan, we'll be out on the iOS store as well.
Nice. That's awesome. Cool. Congratulations. Well, as soon as it comes out,
Thank you.
I'll ditch habit tracker and I'll pick up yours instead. I'll get going on yours. Then essentially Christina ends her month one with her main habit, which is simply limiting screen time before bed. We obviously have got a tendency to look at the phone all day. Nielsen reported in 2018 that the average American uses a screen for 11 hours per day. So 4 hours of that time is TV, in which 45% of people are using 2 screens at the same time. According to Apple, the average iPhone user unlocks their phone 80 times a day. Assuming 8 hours of sleep per night, that means the average iPhone user unlocks their phone for every 12 minutes. Every 12 minutes for 16 hours a day, you're unlocking your phone. So why is this all important to put your phone down? Well, essentially, the benefits of less screen time: it can reduce your eye strain, it can prevent headaches, it can improve your sleep, it can increase your focus. It's all it's not a serious health hazard, but it can have a massive effect on your sleep.
How did you get over your phone addiction? Were you ever addicted to the phone?
I was not addicted to my phone. However, I definitely, with Malcolm, my 4.5-year-old, I had a couple of occurrences with him in the last year where he actually said the words like, "Daddy, get off your phone." And when that comes out, like your son or your child's mouth, like, it's heartbreaking. So when that happened, I was like, I just need to try and cut a line in it. So I'm on my phone all day and on my laptop all day, and then I try and switch it off at 6 o'clock at night. And that's what I'm trying to now put into my life, switching my phone off at 6 o'clock at night. But I mean, it is difficult, right? But
you're so lucky that you can do that and that you weren't addicted to your phone.
No, I'm not. I'm not addicted to it. No, are you?
So as a habit coach, the first question everyone asks is, "Acha, so what are your bad habits?"
Right.
Phone addiction is my biggest one. So it's something that I'm desperately trying to break as well. But it's very hard.
Are you on emails or apps or just web browsing?
All my emails are emails are off. I don't have any notifications for that. But it's nice. More social media. It's more WhatsApp. A lot of my clients are on WhatsApp. I'm always available for them. So it becomes a little obsessive sometimes.
Yeah, well, I mean, definitely, like an easy thing to do there is obviously, I mean, Instagram, for example, Instagram has a timer, right? Like you can actually put in on Instagram, like tell me when I've been on this for 30 minutes. It's an easy thing to put in so that you can get notified when you've been on it for your amount of time that you've allocated, your self allocation per day.
30 minutes. That's like before the morning coffee. Haha.
No, that's Instagram. I'm 30 minutes a day, and sometimes I hit it, and sometimes I don't. But even the days that I hit 30 minutes, I feel terrible about it. It's a waste. Like, what a waste of time. You know. Anyway, but it's enjoyable. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
So moving on to another expert, we have our financial expert, Shinobu Hindert, who is a certified financial planner. She's based out of San Diego, California. And as I said very briefly in the previous interview, the previous podcast that we did, her month one is about creating a positive money mindset. So she talks a lot in her month one about understanding what your relationship with money is growing up. Was there scarcity around money? Was it not talked about? Because all this likely shaped how you view money today.
Correct.
And when you believe something, you often wish it to happen. So, for example, you wake up in the morning and you stub your toe and you're like, oh, it's going to be a bad day. And then you're kind of looking for the rest of that day. You're looking to clarify it. You spilled coffee. I knew it was going to be a bad day. You're almost looking for this like confirmational bias that you've input into your own life. So what Shinobu talks about is creating your own money affirmation and saying it loud.
Okay.
It sounds a little bit kind of cheesy, but to start to think about your financial future more optimistically, you want to create an affirmation, something similar, something simple like, I am working towards being financially free, or I release resistance to attracting money. So you're shifting the thinking and you're rewriting your money story. So the habit then comes when she talks about bouncing back from your previous thoughts and feelings about money. So you have a financial decision to make. You're going to acknowledge the thought, you're going to reframe your thinking, you're going to move through it. So number one, you're going to acknowledge the thought. So if you have a feeling of uncertainty about a financial decision, like feel it, that's completely fine. Oh, this doesn't seem like a good thing to buy. Like, I don't know. Yeah, have that moment, feel it, acknowledge the thought. That's completely fine. Number two is reframe your thinking. Reframe it from, I'm afraid of this financial decision, to, this is a wonderful opportunity. Now, you don't want to make financial decisions blindly, but you don't want resistance to be like a prohibiting factor in change and opportunity. So you're making an educated decision because you've examined the opportunity. So obviously, reframe the thinking doesn't mean just say yes to everything. It means you're examining the opportunity, and then you're going to reframe your thinking from, this is a bad decision, to, right, I've kind of looked at this opportunity, I like it, and I like what I'm potentially going to buy here, and I'm going to move forward with it. And number three is simply move through it. Don't get stuck in analysis paralysis. Research upon research is stopping you from progress. So maybe the final act is asking a friend for what they think, or asking a professional. But either way, make a decision and move through it. So the habit, therefore, surrounding your financial decision making, if there was scarcity around your thoughts to money growing up, or you've been highly influenced around how your parents thought about money, it's a 3-step process. Acknowledge the thought, reframe your thinking, move through it. And those 3 steps can really be put into many aspects of life, I think.
Very interesting. Yeah, absolutely. I was wondering why they're part of the financial thing, because they are aspects of, other life as well, and the way that you make decisions.
Yeah, I mean, I think that why I think finance is a massive part of mental wellness. I mean, I know I keep refraining to the United States, and I shouldn't be, but it's just where a lot of the information kind of comes from. Like, do you know that in the United States,
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago, student debt surpassed credit card debt?
Wow.
Student debt surpassed credit card debt. So you've got 23-year-olds that are starting their professional careers in massive debt.
Mm,
Is that going to have an impact on their psyche? Is that going to
of course.
is that going to affect their anxiety levels? 100% it is. And there's no training around. There's a lack of training around finance. So that's why I thought finance would be a good thing to have as part of this app. And in Shinobu Hinder, we've definitely found the right person because she sees it the same way.
Yeah, it's a very, very important part of this. And I remember years ago doing a podcast where we were talking about why people don't have conversations around money on the dining table, right? Why is it not okay to talk about money, especially with
Yeah.
your kids, right? It's always a hush hush topic. But the
Hmm.
truth is that the more normal you make it, the better you can actually grow up, with
Yeah.
that relationship with money.
One
It doesn't
hundred
become
one
taboo.
hundred percent 100%. Like to this day, at 36 years old, and I'm not saying that this is something that I should have known, but I'm 36 years old. I could not tell you how much money like my mum or dad made.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what their salary was. I don't know. I mean, I mean, I had a nice upbringing. I think we're middle class, but as far as like salary goes, like I don't have any idea what they made. There was never any conversation around that. It was like this big unknown. So yeah, I mean, I think definitely the more you can kind of have these conversations and educate your family members, the better for sure.
Correct.
So moving on to another expert, we have our nutritionist, and I know nutrition is something that you're very fond of, Ashton. So you have some good feedback here. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say about this habit.
Love
Um,
it.
so Jazz Stupak is our nutritionist. She's fantastic. She's in Vancouver, BC. One habit that she has in month one is to have a smoothie for breakfast. It's very, very, very simple. Essentially, when you wake up, your body is just getting used to digesting your foods, and a big meal like is only going to slow you down. So a smoothie gives your digestive system a break, and it can get lots of fiber, protein, fruits, and fats in to make a power packed start to the day.
Hmm.
Protein obviously subdues food cravings, keeps you away from poor food choice, and it's an easy way to get fruit and veg into your diet. So when I actually myself looked a bit more into this, I found a fascinating piece of like data. So there was a study in Australia that demonstrated that offering fruit smoothies as opposed to whole fruit only as part of a school breakfast program led to a 45% increase in the number of students consuming more than one serving of fruit per day.
Correct.
Is that not
Absolutely.
is that not unbelievable? I mean, essentially, the hack there or the habit there of having a smoothie, in my mind, is very simply when you break it down, it's an easy way just to get fruit into your diet.
Yeah. It's an easy way to get nutrition into your diet, especially if you're not, focusing on the micronutrients, if you're not focusing on the vegetables, if you're not having salads through the day. This is just a very quick, fix to that. And it starts your morning off on that note.
How often do you have smoothies? Smoothies is something
Oh,
I have not incorporated in my diet yet, but it's going to be a big part of my 2021.
so I used to have smoothies a lot about 3 years ago. And over the last many years, I've been doing intermittent fasting. So as part of that, you can't have a smoothie in the morning, right? Because
All
I would then
right.
straight away have lunch. And so my smoothies were primarily protein shakes with fruits in it, and some moringa powder, etc., just to get that nutrition going in right in the beginning.
Right, okay. Nice. Okay, awesome. Well, smoothies are going to be a big part of my 2021, so I'm glad that you
Nice,
approve.
nice.
um, and then we have our fitness, our athletic trainer is Ty McDonald. So Ty was an athlete in the NCAA.
Okay.
He is based in Toronto, Ontario. And his habit which I know that you approve of, given that you have your 4-minute Tabata. You start your day off with a 4-minute Tabata every morning. Ty's is a similar idea. Essentially, he thinks that you should do 10 bodyweight squats first thing in the morning. It's a great start for people of all different fitness levels. It begins lubricating your joints. It gets your heart pumping, even just a little bit. And it gets the blood flowing to the largest muscles in your body, like your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings, which obviously make up your legs. So very similar to your Tabata idea. And then our last expert is a yoga instructor. I actually don't have her habit on mine because the yoga is live. It's every 2 weeks, a live class, and we don't actually have like a month one part of the program.
Interesting. So it's a live class that you can take part in, and you can follow along.
Exactly. So yoga is a live bi-weekly Sunday, and if you can't make it live, they're all recorded in the app, and you can just go and do it recorded at any given time.
Very interesting. I love it. So it's so interesting because so many of these topics that you've chosen are little habits that you can start incorporating in your day. Everyone listening, if you can just start putting these things in place, it makes such a dramatic difference. And one important thing is that there is an aspect of listening to these things, and then there's another aspect of actually doing it. And for this year, get into the habit of doing these things. Don't just listen to the Habit Coach podcast. Don't just, look at these videos on Shape and Foster, but actually make it a part of your life, because that's how you're going to see that change taking place.
For sure. Yeah. I completely agree. Listen, I mean, one thing I didn't say in our previous interview, I personally, I am not pretending to be like any guru or I am not Tony Robbins or I'm not Ashdin Doctor. Like I'm starting my journey. I'm in the middle of my journey right now. So 2021 for me, also Ashdin, is going to be about really putting all of these habits in place, and I'm looking forward to being part of this, and hopefully there'll be some of your listeners will become members and be part of the journey with me.
Superb. I'm very excited. I hope they do.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Calum, thank you so much for being part of the Habit Coach podcast. How can people, check out the app? How can people get in touch with you?
www.shapeandfoster.com. You get a free 14-day trial. Stick your head in, have a look, and if it's for you, then you continue as an annual member. And if it's not, then that's all good. I mean, the reason there's a 14-day trial there is because we're that confident in the service. We simply just want to get people to come in and have a look and figure it out for themselves. You can also email me, community@shapeandfoster.com, should you have any questions. And lastly, we're on Instagram @shapeandfoster.
Superb. If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are @IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am Ashdin Doc on Twitter and Instagram. You can find lots more information on my website, awesome180.com, or check out different content on my YouTube channel called AWESOME180. That's Awesome180.
I hope you enjoyed that show. If you aren't following us on social media, it's 2021 now. It's time you did. You didn't in 2020. That was bad enough. But now in 2021, you really, really should. It's IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And a quick reminder to everybody, just please help us out with our survey, ivmpodcast.com/survey. We've had a number of you fill it out so far, but we want to shatter last year's number, right? Really, really blow that up. Go fill out the survey over there. If you do, we'll select from the emails that we have got submitted, and we'll be sending out some interesting swag to people. So what should you be listening to this week? First thing I want to talk about is the unprecedented episode. We did a triple crossover. Vineet Kanabar from Storytellers and Storysellers, Varun Dugirala from Advertising is Dead, and Karthik Nagarajan from the Filter Coffee podcast all got together and put together a mega episode. Do check it out on whichever of their feeds you want. It's available on all three. On Naan Curry, the guy spoke about the history of alcohol in India. It's got a longer history than people would think. Definitely do check it out. Another show I want to call out this week a little bit is The Note by Maruk Inayat. Maruk had 2 fantastic episodes this week. She did her first episode with Amitabh Mattu about the elections in Kashmir, and then she did another one where she told the story of how she faked her identity to interview Benazir Bhutto. Definitely do check it out. And with that, I hope to see you again next week.
पेश खिदमत है आपकी शान में हमारे अंजुमन से. Hi, I am Sadaf.
And I'm Arshit. खाने का इतिहास, economics, policy, psychology, सब है मेन्यू पे.
Only on the Nankali podcast every Wednesday. सिर्फ IVM podcast ऐप या वेबसाइट पर या फिर जहां से भी आप अपने पॉडकास्ट सुनते हो.